In President Ahmadinejad's speech, he answered the accusation that he's out to wipe out the state of Israel. He was asked directly that question, and here's how he answered it.
We love all nations. We are friends with the Jewish people. There are many Jews in Iran living peacefully with security. So our proposal to the Palestinian plight is a humanitarian and democratic proposal. What we say is that to solve this 60-year problem, we must allow the Palestinian people to decide about its future for itself. We must allow Jewish Palestinians, Muslim Palestinians, and Christian Palestinians to determine their own fate themselves through a free referendum.
So what do you make of his response?
One has to understand that Ahmadinejad, like a lot of people in the Arab world, Muslim world, and not only Arab and Muslim world, in a lot of people around the world refer to Israel as that Zionist entity. Now, what he has said again and again, and as Khomeini has said, it is the Zionist entity that must be dismantled. That is to say, the state of Israel has to be de-Zionized. Therefore, he goes on immediately, and something very, very interesting. He says that the Irani solution to this problem, the Palestine problem, is a free and fair referendum involving all Palestinians, Jewish Palestinians, Christian Palestinians, and Muslim Palestinians, for self-determination, and let them choose their own future. It's very interesting to me that he refers to what we know as Israelis as Jewish Palestinians. In secular language, what he's saying is that all the people who today inhabit the historic land of Palestine, be they Jewish, Christian, or Muslim, should together exercise a referendum out of which a common future for them can emerge. Now, this actually, interestingly, converges with a very secular position of a single state, a single secular state for all the Jews, Christians, and Muslims living today in the historic land of Palestine. We may agree with this or we may disagree with this, but it is a sophisticated position.
In his very critical introduction, Colombia's President Bollinger attacked Iran's nuclear policy, and then when the president spoke, he answered Bollinger.
We want to have the right to peaceful nuclear energy. They tell us, don't make it yourself, we'll give it to you. Well, in the past, I tell you, we had contracts with the US government, with the British government, the French government, the German government, and the Canadian government on nuclear development for peaceful purposes. But unilaterally, each and every one of them canceled their contracts with us, as a result of which the Iranian people had to pay the heavy costs in billions of dollars.
Two completely opposing opinions here. Which one is more realistic?
On this, I believe that Ahmadinejad is actually on very firm ground. Even the most recent report by Mr. El-Baradei, the chief of the International Atomic Energy Agency, is very positive. It says that that there is now a firm timetable within which Iran and IAEA will discuss all the remaining questions, and those questions shall be answered. The IAEA has never alleged that Iran is in a nuclear weapons program. In fact, it has said over and over again that there's no evidence that Iran is in such a program. So Mr. Bollinger there is talking complete nonsense, I would say. On this, Ahmadinejad is on very firm grounds. Beyond that, there are two or three important points which people don't understand. One is that the nuclear program in Iran was started in the 1970s during the period of the Shah, when the Americans promised to give them 8 nuclear reactors. The program got started. Henry Kissinger is on record saying that Iran needs nuclear civilian energy because in the future, energy from oil is not going to be sufficient and so on and so forth. After the Islamic Revolution, Americans put Iran under sanctions, and all the contracts that Iran had signed with the United States, Germany, Canada, and so on were suspended by these contracting parties. So Ahmadinejad is saying that our past experience with your commitments is such that we can no longer believe that when you say that you'll give us fuel, that you actually will. And he goes on to say very correctly, you see, the whole of the Irani Air Force, for example, had used aircraft from the United States. After the Irani Revolution, the United States stopped giving them and still does not give them even spare parts for that aircraft. So he says that if you don't even give us aircraft, how can we depend on you for fuel and so on? Hence, this insistence on sovereignty, independent enrichment program, and so on.
The issue of the right to enrich uranium seems to have become the focal point of the controversy. In his speech, the president says that Iran is not going to enrich above a 5% level. What is the significance of that?
The significance of it are two in number. One is that the Non-Proliferation Treaty, the NPT, gives all contracting parties the right to develop as much nuclear energy for peaceful purposes as they wish, and in fact enjoins upon the duty upon nuclear technology possessing countries to help third world countries develop such technology. The 5% is very simple. If you enrich it below 5%, it's not weapon grade fuel. If you enrich it well beyond 5%, then you are on your way to enriching it far beyond what you need for civil nuclear energy, and then one can allege that you are on your way to weaponization program. If you are doing it up to 5%, you absolutely have the sovereign right to do so according to all international treaties. Again, Mr. Bollinger is not on firm grounds, which shocks me for an academic person of his eminence.
But it's not just the president of Columbia University, the president and foreign minister of France, the president of Germany. It's not just the Bush administration that are rattling the sabers and claiming that Iran is heading towards a bomb. What's behind this if in fact the inspection process has not shown anything?
There is nothing behind it. What was there behind all these people, the same people alleging those things about Saddam Hussein's program? You know, I am raising the question about President Bollinger because he is a professor, he's head of a respectable and eminent university. He should not be doing that kind of propaganda. I expect this from Bush, I expect this from Sarkozy, that they'll talk nonsense, as many of such people did at the time of the campaign against Saddam Hussein. The only authority on the subject is the IAEA, the International Agency for Atomic Energy, and Mr. Al-Baradei, who is its chief, the Nobel Prize-winning chief of the agency, and they have categorically said that there is absolutely no evidence that Iran is headed toward or it has the capacity to enrich uranium beyond the 5%, which it has the sovereign right to do so. The only people who have the authority, technical authority to speak on it is the agency, and it has spoken.